Last we left the town of Rehaven and our coterie of vampires, things were beginning to settle in. They'd gotten the lay of the land. They'd set their plans in motion. They'd solved an issue with a small band of brigands and a set of stolen horses. They discovered that they were not the only supernaturals here, that there were already other nightkin, as the term is often used, already on this side of the Atlantic who had not made the journey with them. How long ago they had arrived? Who knows? You hadn't investigated that far. Instead, things just sort of rapidly descended into the motions of the day-to-day. Funds and pockets fattened through the sale of goods from your ship made for quick work establishing roots in the township. A local smuggling cornerstone was Gould, and another was brought you all into a deal officially. Foundations were laid, literally and metaphorically, and in the blink of an eye, the mundane day-to-day operations of using what power and wealth you had to directly control the mortals through mundane means settled in. Before you know it, 5 years had passed. Buildings had been erected. Politics had been entangled. And just as you had arrived in Rehaven, so too did you begin to shape it. But before we get into what is happening in the current nights in the year of our Lord 1655, there are a number of scenes I would like to go through that typify and were important in the passing half a decade. I have... You've all given me notes about your various plans and ambitions, and I have taken a number of them that aren't financially entangled or involved and written them down. And I'd like to set up some scenes with you and play them out and see what happened in the last few years. Let's see here. So, do we have any volunteers who would like to go first? As I look through these lists, and we turn back the clock. Or should I just
I will if no one else does.
Well, if no one else does, I have a dice tower for that.
Oh, let's go with dice.
Okay.
Use the dice tower.
Okay, 1-2 is Kristoff, 3-4 is Kemrutai, 5-6 is Evelyn, 7-8 is Benedict, 9-10 I pick. Some of these events are common across multiple lists, as you both wanted to do the same thing. Some of them I might invite characters to join if it sounds interesting and like, well, something they might have been able to jump in on, logically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Evelyn.
Hey, it was me anyway.
So did I say. As the construction on the convent begun to go underway, you had set up your herd, had begun, well, the mission in general, setting up space for teachers. A number of your herd were teachers, a number of them were second or third daughters of impoverished families looking to find a place to live in the light of God. You have several young women who were chose to be nuns, and a number of young men and women who were looking to be teachers, educated sorts, religiously motivated, what have you. They'll serve their purpose decently enough. But there's one thing that you wanted to do. The thing we most in modern knights associate with the idea of a mission. To make contact with a non-believer.
Mm-hmm.
To spread the word of God. Though you did not wish to convert, you wished to converse, yes?
Right. Want to learn about their cultural ways and teach them about mine. Evelyn is very much not of the opinion that you should try to intimidate people into coming to God, but just show what is on offer, and it's their choice if they choose to embrace God. And there are ways to salvation, hopefully more than one, but this is the way that she knows. So
An enlightened opinion shortly before the Enlightenment era. The one problem
She's a
is
weird
actually finding the people you wish to speak to. But you had someone, you met them at least, a local trapper and huntsman who had worked with the local Lenape tribe in the past. One Garrett Mueller. Working with Mr. Mueller, we were able to arrange a meeting with the Lenape. At least a few of them who were willing to come to Freehaven. Or near it. I'd like to ask you, what is your ideal circumstances for this meeting? Where would you like it to be held if everything went your way?
somewhere that they're comfortable. So if that is like at an encampment of theirs, or even just at a location that they're familiar with. So if Garrett Mueller is, if they're comfortable with him, like, and he's willing to have the meeting at his house, that would be fine too. Like, really, Evelyn's concern is that they feel comfortable, because she wants to try to make a connection with them and really discuss with them and learn about their values, learn about their culture, and figure out what would be helpful to them, what she could do to help them as part of the community. Like, they're not part of Freehaven, but they are neighbors, so.
Right. So, Mr. Mueller manages to make a meeting, and it does in fact take place in a cabin of his. Let me bring you to the regional map. This cabin, he uses it as a hunting space every now and then. It's south of Bloodland Bend, on the hill up here, in this little thicket of forest. The place has no name in Dutch or English. Mr. Mueller doesn't even know if it has a name in the language of the local Delaware tribe, the Lenape people. But it's there, nestled in a series of trees in a small clearing. Oh, I accidentally clicked on the wrong scene there, my bad. Question. Would you make this meeting known to your fellow kindred? Or is this something Evelyn would prefer to undertake entirely on her own?
Would anyone have expressed any interest in learning about the local native people? Other players chime in. Would Benedict, Christoph, or Kim have mentioned that to Evelyn, wanting to get to know the native people, or are they more focused on the settlers?
Wait. I don't think
Maybe-
Kim even know about the local. I mean,
Maybe
not
as a-
like the person who know.
I mean, they've been mentioned. Like, obviously, those people that we apprehended were
I mean,
impersonating them.
she knows about the native, but she doesn't know if we have any connection to them at all. She doesn't even
Not
know
yet,
about the
no.
trapper guy.
Yeah, would she have expressed any interest in them at all toward Evelyn?
She would be interested to like meet the local. Yeah.
Right.
Just
So
as a passing comment after the incident, like, no, like I wonder how the real locals look like at that point.
I feel like for the first meeting, Evelyn might want to just meet them by herself because, like, obviously we're vampires, so we need to hide that. And the more of us there are gathered together, the more suspicious it'll be, the more likely one of us will slip up. So I think for the first meeting, she would just go just with Mueller and herself. Maybe
Okay.
bring her, if she has her ghoul assistant by then, maybe bring her.
This will be only a few months after the time skip began.
Okay.
Same,
So probably just her and Mueller.
Yeah, so it's just her. She's probably in the midst of finding someone proper to ghoul.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, Mr. You are brought out to this campsite, this space in the woods. Garrett set things up. You end up spending the day in his cabin, sleeping through the night. And shortly after sunset, the sound of conversation in a language you do not understand occurs outside. It is not like any other language you've heard before. You cannot place it. And shortly after, the door opens, and Mr. Mueller introduces two individuals. Right, Sister Patricia, please meet, Miss Otes and, Moskim. They are, two representatives of the local Delaware tribe. Well, they're my typical go-betweens. Good folk. I've said much the same about yourself to them. You are good people. Give them some time. Their English isn't their best. But, thank you. I can speak for myself. Oh, yeah. Anything complicated? He pauses a moment, says something in language you don't understand, and, the huntsman, his name, Mr. Mueller says, translate. I'll translate for you. Yes. And, Moskim looks over at Otes and, just sort of looks over at you. She looks at you as well, expectantly. It's the one who called this meeting. You're entitled to a Wits plus awareness.
Where's my character sheet? Wits and awareness. It'll just be wits.
I'm sorry, like my dick's got broken. It is things now, so sorry.
Shit happens. There's something about these people. Something strange. Something. But the obvious thing is foreign. But it's not. It's not simply that they are of a culture you've never met before. There is something off about them. Something you cannot place, something supernatural. Perhaps they are under the blessing of a foreign god. Perhaps they know some sort of magic or some minor rituals, but there's an intensity to them. Something in their eyes in particular.
Okay.
Specifically Ote's eyes.
Hmm.
And an odd behavior that Moskin attributes as he sort of sniffs the air a bit. Something about them.
I will make a note of that. Thank you for agreeing to meet with me. I will do my best to speak in simple terms so that translation is not heavily required.
Thank you. We are not stupid people. Your language hard. We learn.
Not my first language either. I've just been speaking it for a long time.
Otes, who's the one who's speaking, nods.
I am newly arrived in these lands, and I wish to learn about your people, your practices, your gods. Would you be willing to share with me?
There is much to tell. Too much for one night. It's funny. You are the first to ask beyond what we have, what we think.
I do not know if you have the idea of a soul, immortal, undying spirit within you, like placing a hand on her
Everything has
chest,
a
like over her
spirit.
heart. That is my concern. The world, the worldly things, they are needed to keep our bodies alive, but my concern is your soul, my soul, our souls.
It's odd. Moskim can't help but smirk and snicker when you say that for some reason. Otis shoots him a glance, and he straightens up a bit. I apologize. Sorry. It's funny. Everyone else we spoke to. She gestures at, like, the beautiful textile work around her neck, and a few bits of beaded jewelry on her body. We're concerned with these. Wood, food, matters of body, of matter. And you ask of spirits. We know the spirits very well. Our spirits are very well looked after. How well looked after is your spirit?
Well, I work very hard at it, but I will say I cannot claim perfection, no. Perhaps you have things to teach me in that way.
They trade a meaningful glance between each other. And Moskim speaks to Mr. Muller, Garrett, and says something in their language. Garrett looks at you and says, "This is an interesting question. They're asking if I could step out for a moment so they could speak to you of an important matter." Is spirit
Yes,
matter?
that's fine. Of course.
I'll be just outside if you need anything, holler. They're good people, though.
Yes, thank you. I'm sure I'll be fine.
He looks at them and looks at you, and he seems a bit nervous. This is obviously a strange request. And he steps outside and closes the door behind him. What are you? You smell of the weed of the great spider. I have never seen a creature like you. Walks in the lands of skin. Otes takes a step closer and is just looking at you with, like, a mix of suspicion and curiosity. Like you've seen a snake in your garden. You're not sure if it's poisonous or not.
Okay. Just out of character note, I would have used the ritual to appear more human. But yeah, obviously they're sensing something anyway.
You also have abilities.
Yeah.
I'll give you that much.
Evelyn will kind of incline her head and say, I was born to a mother. The name of her people is Romani. And I do not know my father, but my assumption is that he was not. And I was raised mostly in France, but I'm sure that's not what you're asking.
These places, these people, I don't know them. I smell on you magic not of mortals. What is it?
Yes. My soul is cursed. But I seek a way to break the curse. But in the meantime, even if there is nothing I can do to break the curse, I wish to guide people toward goodness, toward heaven. That is all I ever wanted before I was cursed, and it remains what I want.
You are unknown to us. But I will tell you this, creature of the weed, perhaps the worm. Moskim and I are of a special breed among our people. We protect the life, the spirit of the world itself. You smell like a thing that is made of poison, that belies the death of the world. Yet you speak of helping people. It is a curious thing. And I know you came with others, and those others killed killed the men who pretended to wear our faces. A minor annoyance, but a favor done without asking. It is curious.
Not all who are cursed wish to be cursed. There are some who seek it, but that is not my case, nor the case of those you speak of.
To call what you are a curse is to know that it is wrong. This is good for your... She speaks to Moskim for a second, and Moskim speaks up. It means you're not so untrustworthy. If you know you're sick, don't look to spread it. The world is
No.
sick.
I would never curse another this way.
Good. You wish to know of what we believe, yes?
Yes,
We
please.
know at the dawn of time, there was Gaia, the spirit of the world. She doesn't say Gaia, they say the Lenape equivalent word for the spiritual belief of the entire planet. I have not looked up their religious beliefs beyond a cursory glance. Sorry to any Native Americans in the audience. Here's the question: do I keep going in character, or do I give a brief explanation?
Whichever you prefer.
I'm just gonna take a step out of character here because I don't feel like I'm fully equipped to go that deep. They give you a very brief rundown of their two personal beliefs, and they make it clear that they are of a subclade of their culture. That this is what they too believe and what a few others believe. They believe that Gaia, the spirit of all the world, created 3 other major spirits to keep the world in balance. The Wild, the Weaver, and the Worm. The Wild makes things. Every animal ever. Every person ever. Everything ever. The Weaver preserves things. Makes sure that they do not go away. Makes sure that they last. Organizes them, categorizes them. And the Worm destroys everything so that there's room for more creation. Eventually, the Weaver grew tired of the Worm and imprisoned it, and the Worm went insane. Now the Worm steps beyond its station and creates. And what it creates destroys. It's an abomination, and you smell like it. But you also smell like the Weaver. It is their people's task, those chosen by the spirit of the world, to kill these abominations, to cull them, to protect the world, all that is evil. You're allowed to roll me an intelligence plus occult.
It's my favorite. Add a will.
You may. You've heard a story a lot like this before. An Irishman told you of something similar in London. He didn't go into anywhere near as much detail, but Rowan McFinian, the werewolf, told you that he was a servant of the spirit of the world who fought against a weaver and a worm. You also remember dusty old tomes in your master's library speaking of such ideas, and how they were common amongst the Garou. Shape-changing warriors, commonly known as werewolves. You put 2 and 2 together. After all, Mr. McFinian made the same sort of sniffing action that Moskin here did when you came in, and he has the same, and he had the same sort of eyes that Otes has. You're in the presence of 2 werewolves.
These beliefs are not unfamiliar to me. I have heard tell of them once before.
Interesting. Well, what are your intentions here? You said you wish to help people.
Yes, I wish to to learn of the people here and what their needs are. Of course, there are physical needs that people have, and if there are ways that I can help with that, then I would be privileged to do so. Would be honored. But also, yes, I am concerned with spreading God's love, and any who wish to learn of God and my beliefs, I would happily teach, but I would push nothing on anyone. I simply wish to gain knowledge, understanding, and create a place where people have safety and they have their basic needs met, as well as having their spirits nourished.
Our people have not much need for much. We have food, we have shelter, each other. I grow concerned, as you are not the first strange creature who came to these shores. Others, not like you, but not normal from your shores. Manitowoc. Actually, no, I'm pretty sure I said that wrong. I apologize to any people in the Lenape tribe. Manitowoc. I'll copy and paste it into chat. Spirits in the bodies of men. They were strange. Then you come. What more strange things will come from across the sea? We need space. Have space. Your peoples, we let them be here. We won't kill all of you and drive you back into the sea. There's no point in it. We have many things to be worried of. What we want is for you to not become one of them.
If all you ask is space, then of course I will respect that. But please know that my offer still stands.
We will spread this offer to our people. Let them know of your normal, your worldly offer of knowledge and God. They can come if they're willing.
Yes, I would only wish to teach people who wish to learn. There's no need for any type of pressure, any force. No.
Good. If that is all.
I can trust you will not speak of my curse to the other foreigners.
The Manitowoc also were concerned of this, so we will not spread it.
Thank you. Would cause unnecessary fear.
This has been an interesting meeting, Patricia.
Thank you for your time.
We will be in touch.
I would appreciate it.
And with that, the two make their way out of the building. Muller comes back in, and the next night, or tonight if you insist, you make your way back to Freehaven.
Does he know anything about other people who have met with the local tribe?
Yes. A number of people have met with them before. The mayor, Mr. Vorman, has had many conversations with them. Several people who live in the town of Fantasia and Groton and Bloodland Bend have had encounters with them. He doesn't recall anyone by particular name except for Mr. Vorman, considering he was in charge of the colony until it had its first election. And he honestly, him and a number of trappers have had the most contact with them directly.
Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't recall any other key figures who have had extensive contact with the local Lenape. Check that off a little. Anything else? Or shall I roll to see who goes next?
That's all.
Alright. Kristoff is 1, 2, 3. Kemrutai is 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9 is Benedict. Benedict. And a 10, I'll choose. 9, Benedict.
That's me.
So, you wanted to have a conversation with Mr. Vorman about the militia and your boxing ring. Where would you have this conversation if you had total control and you had your ideal circumstances?
Ideal circumstance. Does he have his own office or something?
Well, by now you rolled a fair number of successes, and your building was not particularly difficult to set up. So the construction of your effectively almost warehouse-sized building with space for training equipment as well as fighting circles came up pretty quickly. It's well put together. It's sturdy. Yeah. If you want an office in it, you can have one.
Oh no, I was talking about if Mr. Vorman had an office or something.
See, that's the problem. He doesn't.
Oh, okay. Then...
As of right now, there is no militia office. There is no town hall. There's Mr. Cameron's mansion and Mr. Vorman's personal address.
Then we could have it at my building then.
Right. This is going to take place a few months into the first year. Again, your building went up fast. You had no major specifications, just that would be big enough to have everything you needed in it. You said it was almost warehouse-like, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a little while after it was finished in its construction. You have the rings marked out, the sacks full of material to effectively acting as punching bags and speed bags. piles of weights and stones for muscle training and exercise, all sorts of things. All set up and ready in this enclosed space. Let me see if I can find anything that would serve for good background for that. No, that's something to add then. He'll meet you in your office there then. Or whatever you take for an office. Next question, do you sleep in here?
Oh, good question.
Because there's certainly.
I mean, if I could have if I could have an office set up inside it, then yeah,
Sure.
that's where I'll be sleeping.
Sure. Let's use this one then. Mr. Vorman arrives, promptly. Early in the evening. You show him around before he arrives. You take him to your office. Oh, this is quite the impressive space.
Thank you, Mr. Vorman.
It's a shame that we don't have anything like this for the militia. Or even an official office like this for the local government. I was planning on such things before the election happened, but, well, such are the ways of man's best plans.
That is true. I actually wanted to talk to you about that. Sorry, out of character. This is the first time I'm talking to him after it has been built, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I actually wanted to talk to you about that, Captain Vorman. What if we have an arrangement? You said that you were interested in having strong men join the militia, is that right?
Of course, we'll have no use of men who cannot hold their own or take a punch. And a club where men punch each other is a good place to find men who can take a punch.
Exactly what I was thinking. So how about we have an arrangement? I'll have some, let's say, very attractive banners or flyers being set up in some sort of bulletin board around here for recruitment for your militia. And maybe you could even, if you're interested, watch some fights and personally recruit some of the fighters that we'll have.
You have a printing press?
Sorry, what do you say?
You have a printing press?
No, I'll have to work on that sometime.
Well, with your resources at your disposal, that ship, acquiring one will not be the most difficult thing. Flyers, leaflets. Not the most people in town can read, but they're handy things, I've heard, in politics.
That's exactly my thought.
You have so much space and equipment. Perhaps, on weekends, I could take those I recruit here to train. Not with things like guns and swords, but, of building the physical stamina and strength. And you could, put on exhibitions for them to study proper fist work or see if they're interested in joining your club.
Well, that's very beneficial to both of us. Sure, I'll agree to that. It'll benefit me getting more people interested, and it'll benefit you and your militia.
I am very happy to hear that you say that, Benedict. In fact, being candid with you, when you and your friends came upon that boat, I was concerned that I was being saddled with another wave of, well, priests and the hoi polloi. Artsy, ephemeral types. But so many of your compatriots have expressed interest in the safeguarding of the town. If only we'd arrived a few months earlier, I might have won the election.
Perhaps so. But we'll have to make do with what we have right now.
Indeed. He extends a hand. I think we have an
Yeah.
accord.
I'm glad that we've reached this agreement, and Benedict reaches out to shake his hand.
Shake hands. Gives you a polite nod. And you then go on discussing details of this arrangement. And yeah, unless there's anything particular you would like to do, or actually, is there anything you would like to do?
I'm still interested in getting the big guy to join this.
Would you like to discuss that with him?
Yeah, if possible.
Yeah,
I know that he's.
How do you bring it up?
That's a problem, huh? Maybe I'll have to do some setup for that first. Because I know that he's hard to find because he's outside of town.
Yeah, but Gabor here has one advantage on that over you, in that he can be out in sunlight.
Oh, can I
He's
then
human.
request him for something, just a favor, if he could? Well, if I was to ask in person, Mr. Warman, before you go, I have something to ask of you.
What is it?
Would you be able to find what's his name again? I forgot.
Bjorn Alberg?
Would you be able to find someone named Bjorn for me? The big guy.
The Swedish man the size of a mountain, yes.
Ah, I see. Would you be able to...
Size of a shed?
Exactly that man, yes. Just one quick favor. Would you be able to get him interested in joining here, or perhaps just get him here so I could persuade him myself? I'm very interested in him to join my club.
Well, there is the issue. He lives in Fantasia. That's a couple days away, on foot. That, and I have offered him time and again positions as all manner of things, but he has told me he is too busy, that he is the personal bodyguard of Miss Lane, Sadie Lane, the very pretty lady from the party in the green dress. Not the one who's eating the, what do you call them? Bananas?
The bananas, yes.
Not her. The one who looks like she was looking down her nose at everyone.
Ah, I see, I recall her, yes. Didn't even get the pleasure to meet her.
Well, the pleasure would have been great from what I hear. She is a very beautiful woman.
Alright. I think that'll be all then for now. Thank you very much for this information.
I can pass the message along. You wish to meet with him.
Yes, please, if you could.
He nods.
Okay, then that'll be all, Mr. Vorman. Thank you very much again for meeting me here. For the agreement.
Of course. I'll let you know if Miss Lang and Mr. Bjorn are ever in town. They have business here on occasion. Only port for miles, after all.
Okay, thank you very much. And then he leads him out.
Right. And your meeting is over. Time continues to move forward. Our next group will be 1, 2, 3 for Kristoff. 1, 2, 3 for Kristoff. 4, 5, 6 for Kemarutai. 7, 8, 9 for Evelyn. And 10, I'll toss a coin between Kristoff and Kem.
Oh boy.
5. That is Kemarutai.
Yay, let's go.
So, this scene, it's, again, still within the first few months of your arrival. It's winter. Early December. And you're talking to Lila.
Where's she living right now?
Well, she was living in the inn, Solomon Darrow's Tavern, for the first little while, but she's scouted out a spot for a homestead out in the woods somewhere.
What would she be doing at the time?
Mostly she'd been making small poultices, herbs, tonics, selling them to townsfolk.
The first few months, right? Has my farm even started yet?
Construction's gone up, mostly on the housing and the fields where you're going to be keeping your animals. It doesn't make sense this time of the year to plant anything, but the fields have been marked. The housing for employees have been set, although you have not really gathered any interested parties. You have laborers marked out, but mostly at this point in time, it's mostly a pig farm, a pig ranch.
Oh.
Because there's a bunch of stables and sties for the pigs. You could have bought chickens, but that's about all you can get in terms of animals for right now. Getting cows, you'll have to have them shipped over, or from another colony that already has them. But right now, the construction's going up, but there is already a house that you share with Christoph there.
Oh. Lila! Hi!
Gemrutag, it's lovely to see you again, love. How are
Yeah,
you
it's
doing?
been a while. Oh, it's becoming a thing by farm. Yes, we were getting a house already, and there's a house for the workers, and I was wondering, I heard you were looking for a place to stay, I got a huge piece of land, so maybe, you wanna be my neighbor?
You're making me this offer after I've already scouted out a place in the woods. Got everything all set up. I even started making day trips out there to start cutting down trees and putting up my own little hut.
Oh. Well, yes, but, I just thought that, I just wanna really keep in contact with you.
He sort of looks at you. This weird mix of annoyance, a little bit of pity, but bemusement.
She's fidgeting a lot. Like she's shy, but yeah. I'm not gonna force you. No. Of course not.
Well, you couldn't do that if you tried, dear.
Yes,
I understand that you're trying to be neighborly. Literally trying to be neighborly. I get that. But unless I was to come out and survey your place and see if it met my standards, well, there's the problem. It needs to meet my standards. And you're the strangest bloody... She looks around. You're having this meeting in the tavern, a booth. Say, a person of your persuasion that I've ever had the interesting time to have encountered. Why we're having this conversation, I'm not flicking salt at you. But it's a dangerous proposition.
Well, if you're worried about, what we talk about in the boat, you don't have to worry about it, like, ever. And, I just thought it would be safer if you come stay near us. Because, people are...
Dear, do you even know what I'm doing in this country? In these strange lands? I'm not just running away from bigots and madmen who like setting fire to people who do what I do. I've got plans.
Oh, you have a plan? Anything I can help?
Well, there's the question. Have you happened to run into any young girls who've exhibited strange and interesting behavior?
Have she run into any?
Considering your abilities, yes. There's a girl about town, young, probably no older than 10, maybe 8. Let me check the Discord.
Oh.
Because, slide aside, exclamation point Discord? This campaign is interactive, and you yourself can join the town of Rehaven and create NPCs.
I think I know who you're
Audience will
talking
refresh.
about.
Town registry. Rebecca Silver. A young child with 2 blonde-plaited tails and ribbons. Wide-eyed, often vacant expression. Often carries around a corn husk doll. Strange little girl, especially considering your own proclivities to use star charts to tell the future. She'll often say strange things, like it'll rain tomorrow, or I think something bad might happen tonight. And more often than not, such things happen.
That said, I think I know someone. Yes. A little girl about this height. I think she's like 10, 11, 10, around there. Maybe she, at the moment, like, is there anybody else at the bar? At the tavern, or am I in her room?
If you speak in whispers, unless someone's specifically eavesdropping on you, you can have a degree of privacy. The conversation in the room itself is loud enough that, again, a whispered tone or a leaning in would be able to cover it up.
If I know that some girl is weird, I might end up stalking that girl back to her place.
Okay.
Would I know where she is?
I'd like you to roll me real fast. Because you would have noticed this girl was weird. I want to see if you're going to develop a reputation real quick.
Okay.
Roll me dexterity plus stealth. Or dexterity plus streetwise, your choice of the two.
It's gonna be dexterity plus stealth.
Okay, so you managed to follow this child around in the evenings without being spotted and reported as a creep. Congratulations. Yeah, she's actually for the next. The girl comes in every now and then, like 2-3 times a week. She's not actually from Rehaven. She's from Fantasia.
Oh, that's so far.
She comes in with her sister and their father for church services and for education 2 times a week, as well as with a shipment of goods from Fantasia. Her sister is Lottie Silver. You remember Lottie Silver because at the big party, she was the person that Francois was flirting with.
What do you want to do with this girl, though?
Well, to teach her, of course.
Oh, all right
Traditions
then.
need to survive through being taught. And I wish to practice my practices and keep it going. And, pass them along. For that, I need a student and a place suitable to my practices. A place overflowing with natural energies, of wildlife, of energy. Ley lines, layman's terms of mystical means at least. Nodes of power. Such things can be created in investment, but if I can find one that already exists, I'd much rather use that. And I've got one picked out.
Can I see if she's telling the truth?
Roll me, wits plus. Oh, what would that be for?
I have a specialty in lie detecting and empathy.
Empathy, definitely empathy. Yeah. Wits plus empathy. -1, -2. So okay, so you get 2 successes because of your specialization, and both of those natural ones remove your other 2 successes.
Ugh.
But it's still 2 successes, which is good. You can tell that Lila trusts you enough, and trusts that you can't tell anyone, more importantly, to tell you these things. Because after all, if you went off rambling about nodes of power or traditions of witchcraft, you'd be in just as much trouble as she would be. She doesn't mind bringing things up like this to you. And she's awfully comfortable about it. It's weird, she has her guard up. Because, in a way she'd put it, it's like she's talking to a wolf right now. But she's still having a conversation. She's gotta have her guard up in case you get hungry, but as long as you're not on the prowl, what's the danger?
Alright, can Bill tell her the details about this girl that she knows? And like the time she comes into town, the place she goes? And she will also insist that she's not a creep, she just took interest into the girl because she thinks that that girl probably possesses like similar power she has.
Hey, look, I'm not saying that you're some sort of child toucher following the girl around. Obviously you're gonna follow her around. You know that supernatural shit exists.
Yes.
Look, I thank you for the information, and I get that you're concerned and wishing to be friendly and neighborly-like, so I suppose, if in the time allows, I'd come out to your property and take a look around and see if something's suitable in the area. Though I ain't not setting up no farm. I ain't not setting up nothing on no farmland. You've got forests nearby your place, don't you?
Yes. It's just I think east of my place. There's some at the west too, or the south. There's a lot of forest.
Untouched virgin land. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yes, so nice. The air's very nice.
Cleanest stuff I've ever breathed. Well, when you're not near the shore and all the rotten fish bodies and all that other crap, but still, I'll see if I can find something worth my while.
Yes.
Make sure I'm not more than a day's journey away.
That's wonderful. Just let me know. I'll prepare something nice for you too. She gives a thumbs up.
I got one question for you, though, Miss Vamp.
Yes?
How are you planning on, not going hungry? You've got your pigs, you only got so many. Is that what the servants' quarter is? You're starting other kind of ranch?
No. Like, you know the thing about she makes a quotation fingers, quote unquote contracted workers?
Indentured servitude?
Yeah, like, I don't think it's really fair because I could
it's
tell.
bloody slavery with extra steps.
Exactly. And like these people, as far as I know, could have been taken from their home country, and I know that feeling, and it really sucks. So I thought that if they work in my farm and I give them the pay that they deserve, maybe they'll be able to go home quicker.
So you're getting something out of it yourself instead of just, putting them on your boat and sending them home for the price of working on a boat.
Actually, yes, I can do that too.
Dear God, you hardly are you even... Are you... Oh, well, right then. Okay. You see, this is why I still talk to you. You're always full of these weird little curious surprises. Caring about the fairness of mundane folks. Even to their own detriment.
Well, she shrugs.
I probably shouldn't be doing this, but it'll save someone else a pain in the neck. But I've done your little piggy tricky enough times that you should be able to learn it if you tried.
Really? Really? She's gonna try to grab
Don't get too excited on me now, girl. Let you break my buzz.
Okay,
She says,
okay.
lifting and taking a sip from her pint.
Okay. Just sit properly.
I'll teach it to you. But
Thank you.
understand a few things before I do.
Mm-hmm.
The subject has to be suitably similar to a man. So a pig or a rat. Try this on a duck or a chicken or something of the sort, and God knows what sort of abomination you come out with. Second, it hurts like a motherfucker. What should you do to you? And they have to be alive the entire time.
Huh?
Third, for the sake of gods, the gods, and anything you hold holy, kill whatever you do it to the second you're done. Lest you want a pig who thinks like a person wandering around. Or something of similar sorts. Whatever monsters come from that creation should not be in creation for very long.
Okay. You say they'll be they will have ability to think?
I have no bloody idea. I'm taking a... She leans in conspiratorially. I'm taking an animal and making it like a person. I don't know how far it goes, because I've never let the poor bloody creature live long enough to find out.
Alright.
So use it smartly.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
I
I
will.
wouldn't suggest feeding people it.
Oh.
I don't know if there's consequences, but eating man meat is kind of frowned upon. And you're taking something and making it like a man.
Ooh. Alright.
That being said, I'm not haunted by the spirits of half a dozen pig boys, so... Pretty sure it doesn't go super far.
I don't think that's the case, right? Let me see. She'll try. She'll use her shroud sight to see if there's any quote-unquote spirit pig boy around her.
I'm gonna roll the die of fate real fast.
You
Odds or evens?
Odds?
Okay. So you peer into the spirit into the Skinlands, into the Umbra, into the land of the dead that overlaps with the realm of the living, and you see a few ghosts you don't recognize. You do not, however, see any phantasmal pigs or phantasmal man-pig hybrids. Wait a minute, you're using some sorcery right now, aren't you?
Yes, I'm seeing if there's any pigs, spirits around you, but I see somebody else. What do they look like?
They look like a man, late 20s, early 30s. Looks sick, gaunt, like they died of disease. They're also sort of listless, wandering about. There's another person here who looks like they had their neck broken. Again, young man, late teens, early mid-20s. Worksman's clothes. Again, looking a bit lost, meandering. Both of them were circling around groups of people who were significantly older or about the same age as them. workman types. The boy who looks like he's got a broken neck is hanging around a group of longshoremen, those who move crates and boxes. The man who looks like he's gaunt and died of sickness is hanging around a group of older gentlemen and a couple of women who are, well, they're pockmarked. Looks like they've suffered through a bout of smallpox and survived.
Oh, they're probably waiting for their friends and loved one to go with them. But good news, no.
You just say that bloody shit out loud all the time, do you?
Yes.
Keep it in your head, love. Lest people start falling around like the girl who tells the future.
Oh, yeah. I'm more careful now. I swear. Just I get a little very comfortable around you. But anyway, yes, no pickles. Yeah, you're safe.
Lovely. I'm so glad I'm not haunted by pork chops. But in all seriousness, I'll pass that one parlor trick around. It'll save someone a pain in the neck. We can find some way to preserve it. The blood, I mean. All the better reason.
Oh, let's say, at the time, would Kristoff have taught her the ritual yet?
How much time has it been? Like a few months?
Yep.
It's been about 6-7 months.
Yeah, at some point where people brought it up, yeah.
Okay. I learned this ritual to preserve vampire blood, but I don't know if it would work with blood.
Heaven. Also, I'm surprised that you got conspiratorial about pig blood, but just not about vampires, dear. Are you sure you're being more careful?
Yes, I just get overly excited.
She raises an eyebrow and squints at you a little bit.
Hey.
Maybe it'd be better if I learned whatever Far East language you spoke and we could just talk in that, have a secret code. But don't get excited about me suggesting that, by the way. I'll consider moving into the woods near your home instead of the woods where I already found. Fine. Done. I need another pint.
Yes. Maybe I can show you that ritual, and maybe there's a way for it to be used with pig blood instead.
I don't need to know your sorcery. Here's the thing, love. That's sorcery. Sorcery is... it's learning to write your name by the shape of it instead of knowing what the letters are. It's learning to play a song on a piano instead of learning how to play the piano. It's doing something through physical memorization when I can do the real bloody thing.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think I get what you mean. Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
I'd have to rework the entire bloody thing from scratch in case it didn't anyway.
Oh, that would be interesting. Maybe like we should work on that together. Yes.
I got my own plans, love, on making sorceries for a vampire. It's not on my short list.
Oh, don't worry then. Don't worry. Focus on your thing first.
And with that, you enter into more mundane conversation. Unless there's something in particular you wish to... I mean, maybe.
She'll bitch about Francois. And then, she'll admit at the beginning, she thought that, they would be a cute couple, so she did try to introduce Francois to Layla, but then Francois rejected, and now Francois has been acting like a dick to her. That kind of talk.
I have not actually considered Lila's sexual orientation. I mean, she's a verbena. That means anything. Fuck that. I'm gonna roll a d10.
Because Lila once told her that she thought that Francis was really handsome. That's why Kim, like, tried to be a wing woman.
Oh, don't get me wrong, he's handsome, but fucking doesn't really do much for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I can appreciate pretty things. But, better things to do. With the power of all creation at my fingertips.
It's understandable. I like pretty things too. Let's say, there's the ship that we have, is going back to my home country, and they're gonna bring so many pretty things. Would you like some?
I ain't really got no use for nothing like that. I mean, unless you could find me some... Oh. Honestly, I don't really got much to do about that.
Okay. But if I notice anything like with some interesting aura, I'll pass them to you.
Sure, why not?
Yes. And yeah, just general talk until time to go.
And with that, I'm going to move over Kristoff. It's the spring. You've been in Rehaven at this point for going on... Actually, it's late winter, early spring. You've been in Rehaven going on at this point for nearly 8 months. Francois is over on your farmland. Your little plot of, at this point, well-tilled dirt, a few scattered houses, and a number of pigs. You've gotten a bunch of wooden swords together, a crossbow training target out from the distance, and a very tired Kimrutai running back and forth, collecting crossbow bolts, firing, and missing a lot, collecting them, running back over and over again. You and Francois are sitting up on a set of stumps and stones after having a bit of a practice of swordplay, and sort of enjoying the crisp winter's air. You're catching up with your boy Francois. What do you do? Where's the conversation start? As he takes a drink of a bit of water.
Oh, hoping. Glad to see that you're not. Glad to see that time and boat hasn't made those skills rusty.
A few months and the ocean was not going to get rid of a good showdown, eh?
Well, with the weird air that was in that boat, you never know. King. Well, how'd you been liking the town so far?
It's not bad. The people here are friendly. It is busy and industrious. I don't like the politics. Never been a fan of that sort of thing. And despite the fact that everyone here is effectively a peasant, everyone is going on and on and on about the politics.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest you can roll into any of that shit anyways. Just... Well, sometimes it does find you, but... Yeah. Same here, being completely honest.
One man is always rambling about his hole in the ground, another about cathedrals and opera houses, and the other one, quite sensibly, about guns and crossbows. It is all how do we say? Enormous pain in my eyes.
Hey, at least the one that's talking about bows and crossbows can bring something useful to the town in the event that more people decide to dress up and assault people at the roads, you know.
Oh, me, because that is going to happen very often. More likely that the English are going to decide that they want the Dutch land, or the Spanish the Dutch land, or whoever far off back home is going to get into a squabble again, and so violence will trickle down over here.
Well, I was thinking of the new possibilities. Of course, all threats are always a thing. Oh, definitely. Well, as you say, the more things change, the more things change, the more they stay the same, no?
Yeah, I suppose. You can go away from the courts of Europe, but they will always be the courts of Europe. Was it always this much squabbling and bickering in Germany?
Sorry, I couldn't catch that question.
Was always this much squabbling and bickering in the Empire?
Oh, so you see, that really doesn't change in depending where you go. It just the one thing that changes is the language that people bicker on.
Speaking of, come spring, I'm planning on taking a trip north. To New Amsterdam, past New England, to the colony of Quebec. I don't plan on staying. Winter is already cold enough this far south. But, you know, get in touch with the local governor, send some letters back home, have a little bit of adventure.
Well, certainly, that's certainly fast. What have you heard of the colony over there?
Well, it is a set of woods in an arbor at the very far north. It is very cold. And it's full of French people, it's all I've heard. Honestly, part of me just wishes to, how you say, tour the land. See what's out there. Your condition roots you to one place. Makes it harder to travel. But,
He shrugs.
I still have options.
He shrugs. Hey, gotta deal with the hand that fate hands you. Didn't quite choose this myself, but not gonna lay down and just, you know, just life goes on.
I do intend on coming back, so.
And you know where to find me. Hell, who knows? Maybe by the time you do come back, you finally find a freaking proper militia at this point.
One moment. Kamuta, you may absolutely eavesdrop. Roll me wits plus perception. No, It's plus alertness.
Can I use heightened senses?
Heightened senses will kick in, yes.
Yes.
What'd you get? Oof a doof. Kimberly thought you want to eavesdrop, but you're so bloody fucking tired from running backwards and forwards and frustrated and a little dirty that it's just too much.
Oh.
Hey, who knows? By the time you make it bad, that one over there, and points at Kem, Rutai. That one over there might actually be able to hit something.
Oh, I doubt it. I mean, look at ya. And at this point, Kenrutai, you trip on your own dress, fall forward, stumble, tumble, and eventually come to a halt in the grass. She can barely keep her own feet under herself. Eh?
Hey, strangest events have happened. That's a curious one, you know. Freaking, I have the pleasure and displeasure of meeting with a few people of my kind. Some of them you work with. But that one over there, it's just I just don't know how they're around still, being completely honest.
Mostly pity, I believe. Mostly your pity, I believe. I mean, I should not speak so ill of them. They have surprisingly sharp ears. Perhaps that's why.
Huh?
They hear things, they see things. It's good to be as well as someone.
That is true. You call it pity, but at this point it's just curiosity.
Oh, it will be so curious. Pick up your sword. We don't know we don't know. I'm going to be traveling across across a strange continent, and you don't want to get rusty while I'm gone.
Well then, so be it.
And the two of you
Might even start.
sparring again. Is there anything else you would like to do or speak with Francois about?
In the mean, let's see. Just bringing out the possibility of like training some, just at least teaching the basics of like swordmanship, of some prospect of the militia at some point before they go, just so that there's something to work with.
He'll consider it. He's not around for much longer, but he'll. If you are actively helping the militia, he'll show up to a few to, demonstrate how to properly hold a sword.
Other than that, just wishing safe travels and reminding them where to stab people, to stab supernatural things that were bad.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Hectic. Before he leaves, can I get like last word with Francois?
Sure.
Make sure that Kristoff's not there.
Okay.
Maybe like catch him on his way out or something.
Yeah, you get him.
That's...
You get him when he's like well, like he wouldn't have a horse. You get him when he's like double checking the buckles on his boot.
Francois.
Eh? Qu'est-ce que c'est?
I heard you're leaving, so don't die, okay? You can't die. I don't know if you know this. Look, Kristoff really cares about you. Know that, right? And like, you're like one of the things that help him hold on to his humanity. So don't die, okay?
Roll me charisma plus expression here.
Oof. I don't have charisma. Can I use willpower?
You may.
Ooh.
That is one success. He looks at you.
With willpower?
Oh yeah, 2 successes because of willpower. You know, for a while I thought the only reason you were still alive, as far as your condition goes, is random luck. But merde. Try not to die yourself, eh?
Yeah. I'm not gonna die. Kristoff will protect me.
Is it the problem, eh? Yeah, you're taking the way. He waves away. Just take the lessons with the crossbow seriously, yeah?
Yes, I will. Stay safe.
Bonsoir.
She'll wave him goodbye and just watch him leave.
He begins to walk down the dirt trail, as you have not gotten like a little dinghy yet to go up and down the river.
Oh.
Also, slight problem with that is that the river goes into a wider, deep valley by the time it hits the Free Haven, and it would have to dock at the harbor. But we'll discuss that later. Right. So we've gone through everyone for one round. Still got a little time before break. I'm gonna roll the die again. The next scene. 1, 2 is going to be Kristoff again. 3, 4 Benedict. 5, 6 Kemutai. 7, 8. Who did I not say there? 1, 2 Benedict. 3, 4 Kemutai. 5, 6 Evelyn. 7, 8 Kristoff. So yeah. Nah. 7, 8. Kristoff again. It's still spring. Late spring now. There are people on the farm, working the land, making sure that all the seeds are set and tilled. Most of your enterprises in the town have been completed, with the exception of Evelyn's construction. That's much more of an undertaking than any of the others. But we find Kristoff in the Darrow Public House. You wish to consolidate your control over Solomon Darrow. Actually, rather than just setting in the tavern, you wished to consolidate your control over the man. How are you doing this, Kristoff? How are you exerting your control over this man who doesn't even know he's a ghoul?
So over time, it would have been just showing up for business for the most part, just like over time, Crystal would have been showing up for business and just hanging out at the tavern. Nights that were low or there was too much business, it would try to pull them aside to like get more to the pretense of like getting more details about the operation. And like slowly just trying to like probe him to like, hey, have you noticed like have you started noticing something in the water? It's just slowly probing him of like if it has noticed any changes on himself, like more stronger, more perceptive stuff.
So this has been an even more gradual thing. Have you been continually feeding him your blood once a month, clandestinely?
Yeah, absolutely. Just
so you notice getting his attention and getting into private situations with him, month after month, got easier and easier. And pretty soon, you just had to say the word, and he was your man. It's strange. Like, you weren't on bad terms with man before you started to, do this to them. Before you began indoctrinating them through the power of the vitae, of the blood. But the results were apparent and swift to see. At first, it took a little cajoling. When you asked him if you noticed anything strange happening about his body, he was taken aback. It's a weird question. And actually, before we go any further with this, please roll me a Charisma plus Leadership as you probe him and ask him these questions. And I want to see the direction it goes as you attempt this subtle route of manipulation and like just monitoring. Right. So, one evening, particularly about 3 months into your ghouling of him, you ask him to have a private conversation with him in the middle of a busy tavern service, and he's just like, well, fine, you cover for me, and he dismisses himself quickly. Right, so you wanted to know about any odd goings-on. Yeah, there was something weird. The other day was polished in a glass, and, well, you know, crumpled it in one hand. I'm no prissy body, but I crushed it. And even I'm awfully concerned about this. You know something is going on.
there is. Seems like it might be a good time to tell you a little bit more about that. About some of the customs that we had back home, but so that I can properly see how, well, how concerning it is. That said, is it possible for you to show up at some point at my farm?
At your farm?
It'll be or somewhere private. Just that's
just whatever. Just
alrighty.
No day, no time. Just do it. This guy, I suppose I could.
Well then. You'll know where to find me. Just I got some answers for you.
Why are you being so obtuse about this? You know something. I mean, you obviously do, but...
Some things...
Sorry, go ahead.
There's a thing in a place. There's a place to have certain conversations. This one doesn't necessarily fit a tavern so well.
He looks
No offense, that is.
Yeah, he looks conflicted. Like he looks angry that you're jerking him around, but he also it's weird. It's like he's excited that you're giving him the time of day, and there's anxiety about like having to end this conversation, then hang and linger on it for a while, and eventually he just sort of like frustratedly dismisses himself as so fucking fine. I'll go and I'll see you at your farm. And then the very next evening, he's there, as if with bells on.
For this one, let's see. Will they bring her? Nah. Probably messing with a crossbow or something. Chem that
Would
is.
you like a lie detector?
Yeah. Nah, you know what? Yeah. Sure thing.
Hello.
Alrighty. So. So, Darrow. It's, well, so you remember when, remember that it was, the memory of a certain German tradition still rings a bell? By any chance?
Something like that, yeah.
Well, let's just say it was definitely definitely something that people did back in my hometown, or at least some of them. But yes, you're some of the. I imagine that you have been suspecting some of the changes as it is. You are now something more than just human.
What? What?
What's he thinking?
You were activating your mind rating? Don't you have to roll for that?
Yes, let's go.
Roll dice. That's one success. You get basic service thoughts. He's confused, frustrated, angry, but also hanging on every word Kristoff has. Like, this is weird information that's just being dropped out of nowhere, and there's a little bit of fear in there because, like, the other day, this man like smashed a tin or like a sizably durable cup in his bare hands while trying to polish it, bent it into like a pretzel while trying to just use a tiny bit of elbow grease.
I'll whisper this to Kristoff.
It's well, I know it's a lot to take in, but that is true. It's just stronger, faster, more perceptive than a regular man now. Sometimes, which, well, it has its perks, of course. You will see. It does have its detriments, however. Well, just having to be a bit more careful with some monks, that's for sure.
You're making no sense whatsoever here. What the fuck German tradition did you do? When did you do it?
Well, there's
Oh god, what's that one night when I got sealed the deal with you and to the smuggling ring with the very, very potent liquor?
bingo. You see, you gave you gave that concoction there, which was really strong, might I add. So I responded with something in kind that was a little bit stronger, you could say.
So, you poisoned me with superhuman... That doesn't make any fucking sense. Can you just do this to whoever...
No. In fact, you're the... On this dawn, you're pretty much the first person that I've done that to.
You said I'm beyond human.
Repeat that last one, sorry.
You said I'm beyond human.
Yes. It's... It's, You happen to be beyond human right now. I was about to use the word out of character. I was about to use the word ghoul, but like, no, only that one there. You're definitely more capable than a regular human at this point. As of why I did it to you, well, again, we were sealing the deal on a business opportunity. So that was in a way to secure that the business will stay afloat.
So, let me get this straight. And all lined up in my noggin. You, through some small town German tradition, gave me super strength and whatever to make sure. You know, most people just sign a piece of fucking paper.
At this point, you
and
should.
What the hell are you that you can do this to me?
That's the thing. The kind of person that would do that, and the kind of person that would fall into those weird traditions. In fact, and I will need you to keep this one between the three of us. But I am a vampire, you know.
Okay.
What is he thinking?
Disbelief, confusion. You're gonna find out more of what he's thinking after Kristoff rolls me a charisma plus leadership, because that's a hell of a thing to drop on someone.
I don't know what you're talking about. Just a willpower here, just for the loans.
That's 3 successes.
Ooh.
So I'm going to pull back from the scene from here, and I'm just going to ask you, do you further explain what he is, and, like, the traditions tied to these roles, and, like, what you've done to him, in more certain terms, or do you just leave him hanging with the fact that you're a vampire, and you used your vampire powers to give him, like, stronger than human strength?
Although the latter would be really tempting, he would give it a proper talk at this point.
Okay, so you properly indoctrinate him as a ghoul. He's confused. He's startled. This is a lot to drop on a person after they've been a ghoul for, like, at this point, like 6 months. But you manage to keep him calm, and it's a good thing he's blood bonded. During this conversation, to explain the changes that he's undergone, to explain the benefits, and to explain his general situation. And rather than being enraged or offended that you've done this to him, the fact that things are clicking and making more sense, well, he's not disloyal at this point. He's not the most loyal ghoul of all time. He's not someone who you have purpose made and trained for the role, but he's willing to continue trusting you as a person. And the revelation that you've given him now, the fact that he needs your blood to continue feeling like he does now. He'll work with you. He'll work under you for the foreseeable future. But he doesn't consider himself your servant. More in his
Fair
mind
enough.
than ally with strange circumstances.
He will, he will accept those terms. When and wasn't really expecting any different at this point.
Okay.
Just really ensuring, just really needed to, really needed to ensure that that it was a mug that you accidentally crushed, It was only a mug.
Someone wandering around with disciplines they don't understand. And, like, vampiric super strength. Dangerous. This fun fact, every ghoul gets bones.
Oh no.
That's just a part of becoming a ghoul. It doesn't matter if your clan has access to it or not. Being a ghoul gives you a level of potence. Yeah, but with that, we have been role-playing for about 2 hours. And that's about time for Evelyn. You've been here in Vreehaven for about a year now. Construction is underway on the not monastery,
Convent.
on the convent. And you have a place to stay at the moment. Actually, this might be a 2-person scene. You wanted to keep touch with what Mary was doing and how she was hanging in there, yes?
Yeah, generally making sure she's not, I don't know, committing atrocities.
Mm-hmm.
Too many.
She's holding a housewarming, actually. She's
Interesting.
managed to find herself a decently sized home above a small business, and she's invited a few of you over to visit and socialize, particularly yourself and Kemrutai.
All right.
Something about it being unbefitting to be seen with a bunch of strapping young men alone when she is a bachelorette.
Mm-hmm.
Do the two of you show?
Yeah.
Yes. I bring some I don't know, anything I can bring for the gift, for the housewarming gift.
I mean, Sure. Roll me resources, I suppose. Unless you're bringing, like, a person to drink.
Oh, hell no. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you find, like, I don't know, a set of nice blankets, or, like, some flowers, or the equivalent. You have enough to get her something decent. Nothing
Yes.
to be eaten, of course. After all, you're all dead.
Mhm.
It's the gesture that counts.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say that Evelyn arrives first. She doesn't have to come in from a farm outside of town.
Mhm. Makes sense.
She opens the door downstairs. It's above a textile store. Oh,
Okay.
Evelyn! Oh, it's so nice to see you. Come on. Make yourself at home.
Thank you, Mary. How have you been? We'll go
I've
inside.
been quite good. Yeah, busy. Very busy. Finally, actually, just found the time to get everything set up. And she leads you through the narrow staircase up to the second floor. This building itself is smushed between two fairly larger buildings themselves in a row of mixed businesses and townhouses, really. This one is slimmer and just a bit on the narrow side
Mm.
in general. The house itself is a decent little space. Most of it is given over towards common comforts and what seems to be a very large sitting room overlooking the road in and out of town. If I didn't really have any refreshments ready, hard to, like, get a carafe and fill it with blood, or whatever.
No, that's not necessary. What's been keeping you so occupied?
Oh, so much, really. Well, first off, making sure I've got a steady supply of people to drink from. That's tricky. More rough and tumble folks out here than you'd expect. What with it being a town on the edge of nowhere, but less than convenient, I suppose. But spending a lot of time with Mr. Vorman, helping him, think a little less like a toy soldier and a little more like a leader. Also trying to get this business together. Really tricky. I own the linens shop underneath us, actually.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that was a hard thing to swing when you're a woman and don't have a husband. But I've managed to get all things sorted out. But technically, I'm not the owner. I control the owner.
Ah.
Technically, I just work there. But the things, the vampire magics, they do a right good job of letting everyone know who needs to know who's in charge is in charge.
Well, it seems that you've found a good spot for yourself.
It's a stepping stone. It's a first step, but it's a big first step, you know?
You have further ambitions?
Well, of course I do. We got eternity. Being comfortable for eternity would be nice, but why stop at comfortable? Also, we're on the edge of the bloody world. Comfortable's nice until comfortable gets complacent. Complacent gets you dead.
Yes. Well, you seem to have the knack of keeping yourself out of the obvious public eye, which is a good start.
Well, it's a good
I
thing we
wish
had
I
that wee
had-
bit of practice on the boat.
I wish Kenritai had more of your sense in that regard, but perhaps we can impress upon her eventually.
I mean, she did have the good sense of, setting up her old thing outside of prying eyes. Setting up that farm or whatnot.
Yes, I suppose so.
Not the greatest business
She's-
idea ever, but this area being covered in farms. Saturated market it is, food.
Well, a lot of it is being sent away, is it not?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The profits are long term. You gotta be able to stock up and jump on it at the right time. And there's so many people competing for it. Everyone's trying to get rid of their bulk. I mean, unless they're storing it for the long term and jumping on the problem when it becomes a problem, but no one's really doing that here. Winter went
Well-
surprisingly smoothly.
She's someone who comes from wealth, so likely she's not concerned as we may be about maintaining and growing.
That's the thing, you'd figured that those who come from wealth would be most concerned about keeping it. After all, you get used to all the comforts.
I
But I
don't get
suppose
the
the lot
sense
of
that
the-
she was particularly the head of the household. I think she was cared for somewhat.
Oh, probably. Nobility and all that. Still, a lot of you have that boat to ease your burdens.
Yes, that is true.
I will say this though, Evelyn.
Hmm?
I'm not just doing this for myself. I like you lot. I'm not just running about like a Burke with her head all up in the air, trying to jump up and climb for the sake of climbing. We might be out of the frying pan. But that don't mean there's no fire around the corner.
At least I have managed to impress that much upon you.
I'm serious, Evelyn. You lot saving my life back there. I think if you hadn't, I'd either be dead or still eating cats. I'm going to return the favour.
Well, in my case, nothing is owed, but of course, I do appreciate that.
She smiles. And there's a rapping on the door from downstairs. Oh, it's probably Kim. You wait. Oh, yeah, I'll be right back. And it is, in fact, Kim Rutai, and she greets you at the door.
Hello! Nice please!
Thank you. Come on up.
Here I
I'll get
want
those on.
gifts!
I'll get those in the water right quick.
So look around, excited.
It's not much compared to like the house you had built out in the fields by the river, but it's a decent space consider all things considered. Narrow, a little tight, but she's set up the creature comforts well to make use of the space that's at hand.
Very cozy. I really like it here.
So how you lot been keeping with yourselves, huh?
Oh, been very busy running around, practicing crossbow.
Crossbow.
Ah, yes. I'm finally learning how to fight. Yes.
I see. Suppose that's practical, yes.
Hey.
Things have been coming along with the chapel and the convent. It takes time to build quality, so...
You're building the whole thing out of stone, ain't you?
Yes, majority.
That'll be slow going. After all, there's not a quarry for some distance. I do hear, someone's going on about it over and over again. They were running for mayor and, lost to the fat guy. What was his name?
Borman?
Strock. Vorman was saying about the militia and the guard and sitting on a wall in a I'm helping him get his head on straight when the next time an election comes around. After all, mayor is in a lifelong station. But, yeah. Strock. He was trying to get public funds from mayorship to, get a mine and a quarry set up. I'm sure if you funded a little bit of coinage his way, the digging of stones would go a bit faster, and well, you know.
Yes, I have considered it.
Out of character. Oh, sorry.
I'm working to ensure that the funds will last, especially with. Well, it took some time for the last voyage of our ship, but now that it's back to the usual route, it should be much more regular.
Suppose it should.
Out of character, investing in the mine and the quarry had been my plan too. Like, would I have done that already?
Potentially. Actually, telling you right now, with the rules you got, you didn't have really enough money to throw into that.
Oof.
It was a bit lower on your priority list, so you got a bunch
Those
of the other
rolls.
stuff done.
Those rolls were pre the ship coming back, right?
Yep.
And now the ship is back again, so we should have more funds.
Oh yeah.
So, the way it works out is those rolls were just the ship. How to put this? Your wealth resources as it is, it's not going to change. The ship being on its route did not affect those rolls. Did not affect your wealth rating, because by the time it came back, you would have had the money, and the income and the resources. Yeah, if you'd like to make further rolls in the future or do that, we can talk about that later. But for right now, everything is basically as it is.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've heard about it. Christoph and I planned to invest in it, but we didn't have the fund at the time.
He's got a good head for business. Terrible at talking now. Real prickly prick.
Oh.
Somewhat dry, yes.
That was not Hansel. That wasn't Mr. Strock. That was Hansel Strock's dad. Let me double check names.
Oh.
Was it Pata? Who wants a quarry? That's the what a note that I've got, Mr. Putter.
Yes, it was Mr. Putter.
Yeah. The smuggling dude.
Hubert Putter.
Yes, he's rather a direct and to the point fellow, but I am not unused to such types. Have you continued your association with the men that you ghouled upon the ship?
Ooh, we're talking about boys?
Oh, we're talking about servants, love.
Ah?
You know, handymen, workers, bodyguards. Yes and no. But yes, they're useful. I got them in a few different spots. I've explained the situation to them, and they took it rather well. At least they did
That's
once,
good.
you use the... She points at her eyes and does a couple of wiggly fingers at her, just like the abilities.
Yes, they were encouraged, I see.
Well, I made them forget the promises of snogging and whatnot, and that smooth things out a lot quicker. Honestly, they're soldier types, and being a soldier type and being told, hey, as long as you drink my blood, guns don't hurt anywhere near as bad, and you're strong as an ox. It's a really good proposition. And what with the pull the Vitae has on them, it makes it a whole lot easier to make them listen.
Seems you chose well then.
Yeah. Yeah. I got one of them working with Gabor, Mr. Foreman, in his militia. And another one, keeping work with the mayor. Bodyguard. Sort of type.
I
Or
see.
rather, just iron muscle. Not sure if he's full-on bodyguard or just sort of, looking after his house. I got to check in on him. But, yeah. Pays to have strapping young lads who can take a really nasty hit who like you. And pays even more to have them standing in the right spots. She smiles, feeling like almost smugly, as she sort of like straightens herself out, prim and proper in her seat.
I'll try to figure out her motives.
Go ahead and give me a I'm gonna call this perception plus empathy. And you're trying specifically to see why she's doing this.
Yes, because her demeanor is really scary right now.
She's even part of it seems to be that that the challenge itself, that the setting all of this up is almost a game to her at this point. That the fact that she's able to do this, she's both proud of it and that it is fulfilling for her. That being able to use her wits and these abilities that she has to set up these agents, these people she has control over, despite being a woman, unmarried, and not even particularly wealthy. That in itself is fulfilling. But then she gives yourself and Evelyn a few looks. And there's a satisfaction in those looks. And, like, I want to say, like, a almost motherly, kind of, like, guardian sort of air about her. Where she feels like she's protecting the two of you, and that's where the real satisfaction is coming in. She's jumping through these hoops for you lot. Because she feels like she's looking after you all. She's not just getting off on the power. She feels like she's doing the right thing and protecting her fellow vampires.
Aww. I appreciate all the hard work you've done.
Well, thank you. Really, it's great. You say that.
Must have been really hard.
Oh.
Being a woman and all.
But it's got its advantages. I'll tell you that much. But
this
it
is
also has its
amazing.
disadvantages. But, the fact that we can bend people's minds to our will, just like bloody that, it really helps. Plus, no one ever expects anything bad to happen when the pretty young girl has to have a private conversation. And then, ooh, you're under my power, do what I say, ooh. We had this conversation. Tell me whenever this guy takes a dump. I haven't actually done that one. But, I mean...
I can't see the use in that, but...
But, you know, knowing when people are is important, and knowing when people's vulnerable can also be really important. And, you know, bathroom. I don't know, you might not have to have done it for a while, but when you eat every day at a normal time, you tend to go to the... I should stop talking about the loo.
I understand your point, yes. You need not elaborate further.
Yeah.
Well, I am glad that you seem to have your head about you. I admit I did have my concerns, but you're a very smart woman.
Super.
Oh, thanks. I mean, we'll just do what makes sense, I think.
I admit. I had hoped that you would join the mission, but
Well, I should
hopefully
come to
you
chase
have...
one off there, shouldn't I?
It probably would serve you well, yes. At least for public perception.
Okay. I mean...
But I hope that my trust in you, that you will not only do your best to further your own ambitions, but also do right by the people about you, those around you, as much as possible. I hope that trust is well placed. I believe it is.
Well, you know, I'm taking charge and all that, but it's not for my own benefit. People need a guiding hand, especially mortals. Especially, look at me calling them mortals. I was one of them a year ago. Especially normal folk. Because, like, when you need to eat and sleep and not get sick every day, that's all you're concerned about. You can't plan too far ahead. I got that luxury.
Yes, I do agree, but I have seen this impulse turn foul.
I suppose you're right. You can't let it get to your head. That's why you should go to church more often. I'm here trying to make sure we're all taken care of, and you're taking care of all our spirits. Bless you, one.
That is my purpose, yes. I hope I'm doing well at it, but I shall keep working.
Anyway, enough about me. How are you two doing?
Evelyn will look at Kim. Like you first kind of thing.
Doing great. The farm is going pretty well. It's seeded, and we're gonna be getting crops soon. At the time when I have the workers yet?
Yes.
The worker seems happy and well fed. And from my farm, the stars really nice at night. You should come by sometime. Just, you know, enjoy the atmosphere and watch the stars. And maybe I can read your fortune.
I would love that. And from there, the conversation goes into, like, just catching up and gossip and, like, oh, we've done this, that, and the other thing, and this is what's going on at the farm, this is what's going on at the mission, this is what's that and the other thing. Have you heard about this politicking? Have you heard about that?
Should we talk about Kristoff too?
Talking about Kristoff, talking about Benedict, Severalize role, talking about mortals of various importance, talking about Lila, all that stuff. You have a fruitful conversation until you realize how much time is going by and everyone has to say their goodbyes.
Aww.
Oh, Evelyn will also let Mary and Kimbertai know that She met with a couple of the native people, and they can sense supernatural, so best to
Huh?
avoid or minimize contact.
How bad are we talking about?
The two that I met were werewolves,
Ugh.
but they were not hostile toward me. They seem to recognize that I am not a harbinger of destruction, for all that might mean, but of course they are wary.
Huh. Maybe they're
See,
not
this is
as
why we need a
zealous.
militia.
Yeah, maybe they're not as zealous as the one that we met in London. Cause he told me his religion to destroy us.
It is their belief also that they must protect their people and the world from us, but there is some nuance, yes. They recognize that I am not an entirely malicious presence, and I recognize that I am cursed.
For how long, though?
Well, so long as we are not interfering with them, I suppose.
What if he sneezed the wrong way?
Sneeze into your handkerchief, then.
Yeah, but accident happens.
I'm okay with this,
Then-
actually. We say they stay to the wood, right? What happens when they pass on and their little puppies don't feel the same way?
Then we deal with that in time. We are not on a timeline that they can imagine. So
Exactly. Which is why
we
should be
must deal
ready
with the
for
people who are
that.
here. We cannot necessarily predict the future. We can't predict that this entire town won't turn against us and decide we're all witches. That is merely something that may happen, but we can do our best to prevent it and to guide everyone and to have plans for should things go awry.
See, doing your best to prevent it is what I'm hearing. And I'm not saying we should go out there and kill them all. Of course not. I'm just saying we shall have things in place to protect us.
One
So
of
what's
those
come to
things is that I intend to maintain contact and get to know them.
Oh. Can
That
I
way,
go with you next
I can
time?
predict them better. Can you keep your fears to yourself?
I mean, if we can befriend them and prevent them from trying to kill us that way, it would be better, right?
Friendship might be slightly over-optimistic, but there may be people among their group, their tribe, who would be willing. Yes.
Mhm.
The werewolves themselves, I do not suppose it is all of the tribe, just a select few who are the guardians of the tribe, as it was with the werewolves who were trying to come along with us on the ship. They had a family, but only a few of them were actually werewolves.
Also, this is why
The
we
family
need
was
a strong
large.
militia. In case they ever do decide to get rid of us. Nice to have, a large amount of well-armed mortals to hide behind.
Well, I highly doubt they would try to sneak into town and assassinate us, if that's your concern. They made it very clear that their purpose is to protect their people. I do not think that they are going on a witch hunt or a vampire hunt, as it may be. And I did not name the curse, I merely said that I'm cursed. I gave them no further information. Whether they were able to divine further from their own experience, I do not know, but they did also mention that they met some people who were also supernatural, but I could not figure out what they were saying about them.
I mean, there are other creatures than us.
They used a word from their
fairies.
language I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, there were the fairies that we met at the party. Would that have been them?
Yes, perhaps. Would I have been able to find a translation for that word?
If you've been looking into such things, yes.
Yeah, I would have. I'm trying to learn the language, so.
It's their word for spirits.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they were talking about spirits embodying humans.
Would I would have known by then, with like Lila's explanation and stuff, because I probably won't like let this kid rest and try to find out more about them, because other creatures could be enemies.
I mean, you can get, like, it's a pretty solid guess. Fairies are a kind of weird spirits embodying bodies that it seems to line up. That or ghosts. Who knows?
Have you ever wondered if those werewolves we met in London ever made it to this side?
Well, they may have found a way, but hopefully they're not anywhere near here.
So, thinking of the worst way possible, alright? What if the werewolves, contact each others and they know about us, the one here know about us and decided maybe we're not that friendly anymore?
Imratai, what if the world were made of custard?
I don't know, maybe I should consult the star. Maybe the stars know something.
God, give me strength.
I would like to ask the stars.
Okay. How does your ability? How does that ability work again?
It's she has to remember the cycle of the stars, and then like depends on which planet land on which planet in which like table, and it actually means something because each table dedicate the meaning to something else.
I mean specifically mean your oracular ability. Interpret signs and omens.
In astrology.
Yeah, go ahead and roll perception plus awareness. As you like pull out your charts. And go ahead and roll me intelligence plus occult.
Oof.
Oh
Boy! Ooh, the star wants to tell me something.
So.
Also, I have specialization in astrology.
Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 successes. So you ask Lila to like clear a table for you as you pull out these charts and these tables and these books and stuff, and you start looking through the signs and like checking the date and where various stars and planets are. And yeah, let me go ahead and open up a tab and check my notes.
What have I done?
Let's see here. Go to the coast of colony. Okay, so you should not have to worry too much about dangers coming from across the seas. There is a chance that some activities might invite it sooner rather than later, but it shall not be a tribe of enemies, or a tribe of dangerous beings, but one or two individuals. And that is only, again, if such things were invited, the actions of someone from amongst your coterie. That being said, that which you know does pose some threat. Looking at the stars and divining what it means, you come to the conclusion that the fairies, particularly within the next few years, there is auspicious sign about them. It will be experiencing a massive swelling of power and become dangerous. And signs point to also that the werewolves, the natives, their eyes will be upon you the entire time, watching and judging. And in the coming decades, depending on how they are treated and your own actions, there is the opportunity to make a great ally or to fight a terrible enemy.
Oh no. Cam's just gonna look really, really nervous, and she's going to relay that to the girls.
This is unsurprising to me. Though I am concerned about the fairies. Not entirely sure what we can do about those. My plan was just to keep away from them.
Or we can try befriending them before that happens. I mean, the star said maybe we maintain good relationship with them. Would be safe.
Well, from what I know of their kind, they are rather into making bargains that tend not to work out for the bargainer. They are tricky. They trick people.
And they respect tradition.
They may be beholden to some rituals, yes, but I wouldn't rely upon it. Perhaps you should speak with Lila about them. She seems to have some knowledge of them.
Yes, I should tell Lila about this too. About this what the star told me.
I presume Lila's kept herself away from the witch hunters.
Oh yes, she's having a good time. We're neighbors. I drop by sometimes.
You did manage that then, I see.
Mm-hmm. Oof.
Right. If there's anything else, again, it's late into your conversation, and despite that one revelation, unless you plan on staying over the day.
Over day, no.
Yeah.
No.
Especially for Cameron.
Yeah. Evelyn's done. She'll make her goodbyes.
Yeah, I gotta get home early and told Kristoff about what happened in town, who's spy now, and about the prophecy, and maybe the next day go talk to Lila about this too.
Right. So next up is going to be Benedict.
That's me.
So, Benedict, you get informed that Bjorn is in town. He and his employer, Miss Lane, are down by the docks. Some deal or shipment coming in, and him being needed to load it, or some such a lot. They're in town for the whole day, and if you had your way, where would you like to try to run into them? What if Benedict was able to pull this off in his ideal way? How would you this conversation start?
I'd like to talk to them at the docks as they just arrived there.
Right. Easy enough. Well, it's roll the die of fate here.
Oh.
Because The die of fate here is if you manage to get them when they're arriving or when they're like finishing up business at the docks, because their ideal situation is they arrive in the day to finish up that business and then sleep here and then go home.
Oh.
But let's see if they had any trouble on the road. High or low?
Hi.
Okay, so apparently they had some trouble with the wagon wheel.
Nice.
And arrived in town closer to sunset than they wanted. That's a graveyard. That's the wrong scene. Let's grab a couple of tokens real fast. So you make your way to the docks. Later in the evening, things are calmer and quieter. And you encounter the man you've been looking for the past while. He's easy to spot due to his prodigious size. And his employer is also easy to spot, as they're honestly the most beautiful thing here compared to dock workers and longshoremen and whatever riffraff is hanging around the docks in the evening. She is speaking to someone further up the docks while Mr. Alberg is sitting, leaning against a pillar, or a post. Actually, sitting on a post near a large wagon. It looks like it had a hastily repaired wheel on its side. He looks up and sees you coming. Stands in a almost... Well, he crosses his arms in a bit of a closed-off position. Say that. An eyebrow raised as you approach.
Mr. Alberg, it's nice seeing you around here.
You know the name? You are... I've seen you before. Don't know you.
Yes, I've seen you as well. We were both at the party at the mayor's residence. It's nice to meet you. My name is Benedict. Then he reaches out his hand.
He looks down at your hand, looks at you. Eventually, he goes from his crossed arms and reaches out and holds and shakes your hand. His hand is more like a mitt than anything else. You're entitled to pursue a wits plus awareness.
Oh, what? Okay.
Wits and awareness. As you shake his hand.
Whoa. Wits, alertness again.
Awareness, specifically.
Oh, awareness.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
the same point. Yeah.
It's weird. His hand's bigger than his hand. Like, when you grab his hand, you can just barely, like, looking at it, you can just barely fit your hand around it. But it feels like, when you shake his hand, it feels like your entire hand is being palmed by the guy.
Oh.
Like, there's some visual disconnect there between what you're feeling and what you're seeing. Something's not quite right. And for a moment...
Sorry. Out of character.
Okay.
Sorry for interrupting. You need to understand. So it feels bigger than it looks, or
It feels bigger than it looks. It feels like he's wrapped his entire hand around your hand. It looks like you're barely able to shake his giant fucking hand.
Okay, thank you.
Like, his hand is big, both in feeling and in look, but it feels even bigger.
Okay.
And while you're shaking his hand, that look of, well, this is odd, flashes across your face, and you see that reflected in his own face. Like, he's also noticing something a little strange about your handshake.
Benedict will let go of the handshake, look at his hand for a second, maybe close and open it a bit, and then he'll pretend that he didn't feel anything weird and just look back at Bjorn.
I have a firm grip. Yours is a little clammy.
Yes, sorry. I guess you could say, I'm a bit nervous, and I've been meaning to see you for a while now, but I've heard that you've been really far. I wanted to propose something to you, if you're interested.
You have my attention.
So I'm setting up this sort of bare knuckle boxing club where people can fight for prize money, or they will fight for fame to settle a dispute, or even just for personal training. I'd like to recruit you into it to gather a more interested crowd. What do you say?
No.
Okay, that was very straightforward.
A man's hands are for protecting and destroying. They're not for entertaining.
hmm.
I'm
I
not
respect
trying to
your
make myself a spectacle.
understood. Then I respect that. Um, so while we're here, can we might as well get acquainted. What are you?
I'm sorry, say again, you cut out a little bit.
Oh, okay. While we're here, I might as well get acquainted with you. What are you here for?
Sadie, Miss Lane, she's getting a shipment of, a few things, luxuries, personal things, from, her home, across the sea. I'm here to load the cart, and to make sure she's safe.
I see. All right. Would you mind then if would Miss Lane mind if I greeted her as well? She seems like a busy person.
Is only gentlemanly to make yourself known. I'm sure she would not mind. Just
Thank you very
keep
much for your time.
hands to yourself.
Of course. I wouldn't want to make your enemy, of course. Thank you very much for your time. It's nice to make your acquaintance. Then he waves off and approaches Miss Lane.
So even though you wave him away, like say goodbye to him, he's
Hmm.
only like 2 feet behind you. As you approach Sadie, and you can hear the boards of the dock creak as he walks behind you.
Oh, okay.
This man takes his bodyguarding very seriously. Hey, by the way, as this woman turns, her reddish auburn hair and piercing green eyes, high cheekbones,
boy.
and silken smooth skin, with a low cut push-up bodice in the sea breeze, looking at you with the moonlight behind her. Please roll your. What I have you do this before? Self-control.
Yeah, self-control.
Yeah,
I'm going to die.
Self-control.
I'm going to die. Oh!
Benedict.
Oof.
It's her. It's your beloved.
Benedict widens his eyes at the sight of her.
Remember our conversation?
Miss Lane. He approaches closer, and he reaches out a hand but stops himself. He remembers his last meeting with his beloved, and she did not like being touched, so he stopped himself mid. Like his arm is halfway outstretched, but he's frozen like that, and then he goes, "No, you've disguised yourself. It's nice to see you again."
I'm sorry, who are you?
It's me, Benedict.
You're taking quite the familiar tone.
Of course.
Sadie Lane. Can I help you at all?
Benedict looks around. He notices that Bjorn is still behind him, and he goes, "Oh, right." He thinks that Sadie is going undercover. I mean, his beloved is going undercover as someone named Sadie.
Obviously.
I see what you're going for. It's nice to meet you. My name is Benedict. I believe we've met already before?
She looks at you deeply, these piercing eyes. A strange look. Like she's looking for something familiar with you. Like she's trying to see beyond the person directly in front of her. She's examining you. Like she's trying to make sure it's you.
Benedict is trying to hold back a big grin, but a little smile is showing.
A little closer, not into your own personal bubble, but peering at you. Curious. Something's placed you under a glamour. Or under a full-blown delirium. Delusion. Total
A delusion?
What
are you talking about?
This one is... I think he's another night folk. If he is, then he's the victim of some strange confluence.
Benedict is just standing there, really confused about what they're talking about.
Your name is Benedict, yes?
Yes, that is correct.
Do you often find yourself confused?
Confused myself? I do not think so. But I guess you could say I do confuse others sometimes. Why do you ask?
Well, it just seems that there's this pallor over your eyes. Something I'm quite familiar with. You say no one's done this to you.
Not that I'm aware of. What trick on my eyes are you talking about, my dear?
See, there it is. Are you sure you haven't... Have you encountered Picard?
Out of character, has he?
The name isn't particularly familiar to you. Mr. Smith? Again, not ringing a bell.
No, I'm not familiar with these names.
We can rule out his chicanery. You say you know me.
Yes, I couldn't mistake it.
I think I'd remember you.
You do?
I would, if I did. You are a striking figure, I'll give you that. Handsome, strong.
Benedict looks proud of himself. Yeah, I've had some work done ever since we last met.
Indeed. Perhaps that's not why you don't look so familiar. Ah, these things that lifetimes do to us. If indeed I am who you think I am, and you are someone I've known, I hope that we knew each other on good terms. If not, this must be oh so very confusing for you.
Benedict tries to recall when they last met, and it was pretty okay to him. Although he does remember that she was hesitant still to touching. Can Benedict try to recall that his kindred friends told him about this already?
Yes. Go ahead and let's see here. What should I have you roll for this? Roll me self-control again.
Okay.
That's a success. You can recall the last conversation you had with your kindred comrades about you and your beloved.
Mm. Benedict recalls that they've talked about this, and he starts hesitating, if that's allowed. He starts hesitating on implying that he's talking to his beloved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry. Maybe I've mistaken you for someone else. You do have a striking resemblance to someone I was very close to.
Well then, you gave the you said you just introduced yourself as Benedict Flores, yes?
Just Benedict.
Well then, Benedict, just to save us all a mite bit of embarrassment, she hums a little tune, leans in closely, and moves to put her caress your cheek with the back of her hand. Do you back away? Do you try to get away at all?
I'm flustered and I just let her do it.
And she whispers in your ear, "This is all just a lovely dream. You'll wake up from it, and it'll all just have been a lovely little dream."
What?
I need you to roll me your willpower, as it currently is.
Oh shit. Okay.
She used that bonk.
Oh, oops. Wrong.
I'll give her that many dice. So 3 successes. And that's... So as she does that, you're also entitled to a wits plus awareness.
Okay. Oh shit.
So you don't notice. So it's weird when she does that. Your eyes flutter. They feel heavy. It's almost like the sun's coming up for a moment. You feel tired. Like your body's calling for sleep, but you shrug it off and push it away. She looks at you a little surprised, almost. I still think you should head to bed soon, Mr. Flores, Mr. Benedict. It's rather late in the evening, and, well, myself and Bjorn would like to get our business done as quickly as possible.
Benedict will step back a little bit, like he's staggering back, and he'll look at her again, like blink twice really quickly, just to confirm what he's looking at right now. Yes, you're right. It's a pleasure making both of your acquaintance. I should head back. I feel very off right now. I should get some rest. Yeah, you're right. He'll
Don't be a stranger.
Of course. I'll leave it to you. I'll leave you to your work then. Don't want to hold you off even longer. He'll put his hand on his forehead and walk back, waving at them as he walks away.
You do, and it's very strange. The further you get away from her, the quicker it seems to wear off. That swooning, that sudden bit of tiredness.
Okay.
Unless there's something further we wish to do, that'll be seen.
Faye are strong.
Faye do weird shit. Yeah. Right.
Alright, that's it for me.
Next is going to be... I think it's a... No, we haven't done, Actually, that's everyone's had 2 so far. So... Time to roll again. Okay. 1, 2 for Christoph, 3, 4 for Cam, 5, 6 for Evelyn, 7, 8 for Benedict. 9, 10, I pick. That's Benedict, but I don't think you had any further things you wish to do in the time gap. Unless there's a scene you would like to set up.
Not in mind right now.
Okay, well, I'll just roll again then. 1 to 3 for Christoph. 4 to 6 for Karutai. 7 to 9 for Evelyn. And I keep rolling high. It's Evelyn's turn next.
Okay.
Now, it's midway through your first year in. Actually, at this point, it's going to be some point in your second year in Freehaven.
Okay.
You've been here for some time. Again, a convent takes a while to build, but it's getting there. It's livable at this point. There's a space to teach, there's a space to sleep, and the secret project beneath the grounds is well under.
Good.
You have a feeling that it's time to. Well, when you visit Claudio, is this just dropping in, or is this a matter of like just giving him your blood payment?
No, she would visit him semi-regularly. Obviously not more than he would want to see her, but he has said in the past that he likes talking to her and she likes talking to him, so she would just stop by and talk to him about things and, yeah, obviously still supplying the agreed amount of blood promptly.
Right. So you arrive at the place Benedict has been making his, Claudio has been making his abode. Knowing Claudio, he has found a small studio in which he is quite possibly operating a printing press out of. It's not particularly brisk business, but it's enough that he can afford the building, food. And you've spoken to him before about it. He finds it an interesting enough pastime. Is there any particular circumstances of your visit, or just coming by to chat?
I mean, mostly she's just wanted to keep in contact with him, have a conversation with someone that knows she's a vampire and is relatively intelligent compared to some of her other companions. She wouldn't mind trying to learn some language as well if he wanted to teach anything, but she's trying to learn several languages.
Yeah, I'd say this is after a tutoring session, be it a language, or I believe you were also trying to learn a discipline or two that he had at his disposal.
Yeah.
So he has access to a basement, a cellar, in his abode. That was the one thing he made sure of. Secure, underground, dry. And after a bit of a lesson down there, you find yourself with him in the dim, pale light of the moon, coming through a small crack and a few candles that light the area. In his cellar. No, of all the things I miss, I think the only thing, well, it's not entirely true. You can't get good olives out here for a damn. It's the library, though. The one great thing about being in his service. I always pondered that it was as great as the Library of Alexandria in the amount of knowledge it held. But, of course, with a smaller, with greater, how to put it, the secrets and the potency of the knowledge it held was as great as the great library. It's just a smaller amount of volume. Out here, well, it's a damn hard thing to get a hold of anything.
Yes, I have been wondering about ways to get my hands on more knowledge, but other than bringing across on the ship, I'm rather out of ideas.
I'd been considering taking a trip up to New Amsterdam. I hear it is a bit of a... well, it's an even bigger trading port than we are here. That or down to some place in Georgia. Or perhaps Virginia. Philadelphia, maybe, if I were to go inland. Perhaps they have their library or two at their disposal, or merely a place to order a book upon a ship that is not directly tied to us.
Yes.
I
Well,
do know still a few sources, it's just the problem of reaching them through means that our master does not know.
that's the tricky part. For traveling, however, you would not go alone, yes?
No, I don't think I would. It would be ill-advised. I don't fear reprisals from werewolves or beasts. But common threats like a bear are dangerous enough. Or a highwayman.
Yes. Well, do you have someone to travel with you?
I don't. But enough go up and down the coast on carriages that it might be feasible to hitch a ride. That, or to jump on a ship that's making its way to a more fruitful trade port. Our fair harbor is a very popular spot to stock back up on essential. Seems we're not the biggest trade stop-off yet, though.
Well, should you have need of funds, or be willing to look for or order tomes that might be of interest to me, I would be grateful.
I was going to ask about money, but I did not wish to impose. Or beg.
Hardly. I meant what I said that night when we met in the safe house. I'm not interested in all of the politicking that we were forced under. Of course, I keep my head down and keep suspicions at bay, but, well, I don't suppose it'd be too forward to say that I'd consider you a friend, but I do.
A kindred spirit, a victim of the same circumstances. Close enough thing. Our state of being.
Perhaps as close as we can get, yes.
I do sense a kinship and a camaraderie with you, even though, well, my heart's still beating. No offense.
None taken. I'm quite aware of my predicament and what that entails, especially to those still living.
The curious thing is, I knew many who would kill for the privilege. And some who did. It's a strange thing to possess that which one covets so greatly. You yourself despise it.
I suppose there are... I wouldn't say enjoyable, but there are benefits. I can search for knowledge without concerning myself with my mortality, but would I trade that for my soul? Never.
A shame we don't have the choice in the matter.
Quite. But if I can guide anyone toward salvation, then I shall do so. If there is any way of saving myself and those others who didn't wish for this state, then I shall attempt to find it.
A noble as gold as ever.
Is it noble when it's merely the only thing that one can fathom doing? Does not nobility imply some sense of temptation, some swaying from the path? I feel no temptation.
Dear, you have a beast inside of you. A clawing, hungry monster looking to kill and eat everything around you. You may have good control over it, but that does not mean it's not there.
Yes, that is a point. I'm
To
more...
not give in to despair and eternity. That is a struggle for some.
Well, perhaps I'm fortunate then that I found my calling before I was taken.
Indeed. Many, once embraced, can never adapt beyond they had. Some are so obsessed with it, they seek to claw it back.
Yes, I'm somewhat surprised that Benedict has not yet accosted one of the locals and been hung for it.
Oh, he's accosted several of the locals. It's just he's had this strange bit of self-control. Typically, he gets confused. Then after a minute or so, he realizes he's confused. It's quite the funny thing to witness. If it weren't
How
a touch embarrassing.
odd. He was not at all, in any way, shape, or form, under control of any of his sensibilities when he accosted me.
Well, he's still a neonate. You know what they say about old dogs. He is still a very much young pup in that regard.
Yes, they're all so young. And without much guidance, left to their own devices. At least
You
Mary
realize-
seems to be making some plans that hopefully will not draw too much attention to herself.
I may have made a few suggestions here and there, but she has taken to it quite well. A bit...
I appreciate your guidance.
but concerningly well.
She is, yes, quite enthusiastic. I wonder if it has something to do with who sired her.
That's what I was thinking. It's a curious
Oh, well-
thing. The embrace does not typically result in amnesia.
Well, perhaps she also was injured, or injured prior. And that's why they turned her. Though I can't imagine why, exactly. I can't imagine doing that to someone.
She recently told me that she's been able to make people forget. With her discipline. Curious thing, considering the state she found her in.
You believe that whoever did this to her forced her to forget?
Quite possibly. It could have been a situation where a feeding went wrong, and then they tried to scavenge it back, and wiped her mind of everything in an attempt to escape. She's a curious case, that one.
It must be a very powerful being to do such a thing. I can have someone forget small things, but one's entire life? Almost completely?
Such things are easier to apply to mortal instead.
Oh.
Especially one half dazed and blood lost. That, or whoever made her, was indeed powerful and desperate.
What benefit would making a neonate provide, especially in the circumstances, the chaos that we left?
True. To sire a creature like that, to wipe their mind and then let them go. I can't see a reason for it.
Something must have gone awry, that's all I can assume.
That, or they were looking for a scapegoat.
But then they simply let her free.
Exactly. A hungry, dazed and confused vampire in the streets when the Inquisition was about. We got one.
She was a bait. I see.
Exactly. It's the only conclusion I can come to.
That's rather tragic.
Cruelest in the
She said that
cruelty in the highest order, I'd say.
Yes, when I last spoke with her, she thanked me again for saving her, and perhaps that's more true than she realizes.
Indeed.
Ah, the cruelty in this world.
Never ceases to amaze.
Well, she's expressed much concern for all of us. And much affection. So, it has not turned her, as cruel as what she's faced. At the very least.
Her sense of responsibility, I'm not so sure if that is not her ventral blood. Noblesse oblige runs through their being. Her affection, though, I do hope is genuine.
I don't see why it would not be.
Of course
We've not wronged her.
Exactly.
And we have helped her. So.
A fair bit.
But we can never fully let go of that suspicion, can we?
I mean, if we were to have Kemrutai peer through her mind, that would provide certainty. But I fear that would be a violation.
I don't know what Kemrutai is usually doing. I assume she's constantly filing through all of our minds at all times, but yes, to do so intentionally by request would be rather disrespectful at the very minimum.
Enough about our peers. The more important matters. He wanders off to the side and just sort of stands in front of a very modest smattering of leather-bound tomes and bits of parchment on a rather sad-looking shelf. Books. If I am to make a trip to New Amsterdam or Pennsylvania or Philadelphia, to what end should I look for volumes?
Well, the Archangel's gift is anything that may truly be discovered, then anything along those lines, anything related to potential rituals, or I suppose even folklore of this land or Europe, since we have some Fey neighbors, would all be of use.
Well, fairy tale books will be easy to come across. Tomes and treatises upon the local practices are still to be written.
Well, I should get to that then.
And you
I also wish to learn more of medicine, create perhaps a hospital eventually. But I don't know what textbooks are available in that vein.
none on my disposal. But if I'm to keep this straight, Ed, when next I go to a bookstore or make contact with old friends in Europe, I am to search for Galconda, fairy tale books, and medical journals.
Yes, that would be quite useful.
An eclectic smattering of things. Oh well. I see no reason not to.
Is there anything that you're seeking knowledge on yourself, if I may ask?
There are a number of history books I'm looking to gather. I remember a large amount of it, both that I have lived and that I have studied before, but it is always good to have volumes on hand to compare against my personal notes. Of that, and noticed tomes. That is a history that has been long since forgotten by most. The antediluvian tale of the world before God cleansed it.
Yes, I would certainly be interested in that as well. Do you have companionship?
Oh, my script in Greek is immaculate. French is my French is a bit... Anything with romantic characters. A little less.
I see.
It is why I got the press. You don't need to be able to shape a letter over it. Line up the sentence, ink the little cuts, smash it against a piece of paper, and voila, page. Oh, what the scribes would have done for such a thing like this. Did you know to take a scriptorium years to get a single book done?
They are beautiful, the way that they used to make them.
Oh, but of course, hand-drawn, massively illuminated. Each tone lovely work. But the information within, a year to get a simple 100-page book.
How long does it take you now?
I have not put myself fully through the paces, but I wager I could get the same done in a month. And if I was so inclined, make a few dozen copies in the same go.
I should like to translate the Bible to several different languages. That's never been likely translated to.
Well, so long as they have characters that I have letters for, that could be done. After all, the printing press was first made to make the Bible.
Yes, quite. I apologize if I overstepped.
You are fine, my dear. We're just musing after things down here. Letting our minds wander after a bit of a session of study. Where I learned such things were commonplace and normal. It's just it was dung amongst at least 24 over the peers we have here.
Yes. Well, perhaps as this place changes, there will be new types of people. Oh. I suppose. I mean, out of character, I might have already told them this before, but I'll let them know about there being werewolves in the local population, the local natives.
Yep.
But yes, new lands tend to attract all sorts, so we shall see what we face, I suppose. But it is difficult for me to stomach Kim and her frenzy. Whenever she's told of a danger, she decides that this is the apocalypse and we must immediately act. In which way? Who knows, but...
Her frenzy in the case of werewolf is well placed.
Well...
Those creatures are never to be.
We need not trifle with them. We need not anger them. But any act against them, of course, will be very dangerous.
That is part of the issue. We need not trifle with them alone. Stay well and truly out of their business. And yet, they shall inevitably insert themselves, their teeth and their claws in ours.
Well, I don't intend to leave them entirely alone. But I don't intend to anger them either.
As long as we are wary.
Ever so. Ever so. I've never been accused of being reckless in that regard.
No. You wouldn't be alive as long as you have been if you were.
Right.
Right, is there anything else you'd like to discuss?
Um. Hmm. I'm gonna roll to see how well she hides something.
Oh, okie dokie.
What would that be? Appearance? No.
That would be manipulation plus expression, I think.
Okay.
That's no successes. That's in fact a botch.
Oh. Okay. I guess if he cares, then he would notice that she's kinda a bit melancholic right now. Whenever he brings up her age, she kinda wilts a little.
My dear, if it is a matter of opining the lost years or realizing that you are older than your peers, might I remind you that I am over 900.
No, nothing so vain. I don't know that you want to hear my whining.
Oh, please, your whinging might be the only thing entertaining that happens tonight.
Suppose it's at least amusing to someone. Well, you do you have a reflection?
Ah, yes, I do.
I do not. I don't know if you ever experienced not having one when you were blood bonded, but
Ah,
my face is all that I have left of my mother.
and you
And I
have
don't
not
recall
seen
it. No.
Perhaps when I go looking for books, I should also go looking for painter.
I could have use of one, yes.
He pats you on the shoulder.
Oh. It seems a silly and vain thing, I'm sure.
If you indeed bear a striking resemblance to your mother, she was a lovely person. It is a shame not to be able to remember such things. You
From
should
what I
get someone to
recall,
remind you of her before you're like me. You're not even.
yes. Well, from what I recall, I did look rather a lot like her before I was embraced. I don't know if that's changed me a lot, but
It made you paler or darker as the summer often become. Other than that, the only kindred who truly changed when embraced are the Nosferatu.
yes, of course.
Oh, how they must wish to not have reflections.
Hmm. Suppose I'm fortunate that that hasn't been robbed from me as well. For all that it is hidden. But do you not feel out of place?
I have not felt at home in centuries. I fear I will never be able to go back to whence I felt at home. For that place had been conquered, torn down, ages ago. And while it was burning, I was a slave. To a man I thought the most brilliant mind in but had come to recognize as one of its most indifferently. It is strange, the blood bond has long since been broken, but I still hold this twisted, poison admiration for.
No, he's impressive. There's no shame to admit it. But mere intelligence without a shred of compassion. That's not worth a whit, in my opinion.
No. And all
like
that
being-
power for the sake of just having it.
Yes. It's like being made of fire. Everything you touch, you burn. You consume. That's what he is. He just consumes.
He reminds me of a Christian story, the Tower of Babel. Untold height, untold wisdom, and a display of power that is not but extreme hubris. I hope one day he is struck down. Even if it makes us all speak gibberish.
Could it?
Oh, the Tower of Babel.
Oh. Yes,
God,
of
have you not
course.
read the... When was the last time you went over your Old Testament?
I'm more of a fan of the new.
Ah, yes, that's where your beloved Christ is. Neonates and your... lack of respect for the classics. Even in your religious texts.
You may mock, but he has saved me.
Yes, 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 but can he read you the full epic cycle? I think not.
I shall reread the Old Testament. Just for you. How's that?
Away with you. I am done. Unlike you, I'm awake in the day.
Alright, enjoy your rest. I shall, contact me when you plan to go, and I shall see that you have funds, and should you need an accompaniment, I shall arrange it too, if you should wish.
Very well. Good evening.
Good evening, Claudia.
And with that, I am going to call the session.